When choosing your position size, the first thing you have to remember is position sizing is one of the biggest factors in your emotions. If your position size is too big, you may get too emotionally attached in that trade, or if your position size is too small, you might feel FOMO. So, how do you find a balance in that? Let's go over 3 major ways to position size correctly. A big part of position sizing is knowing if you are scaling into a position and scaling out, and also how confident you are on the trade. But these 3 ways will give you a good idea of your full position size. So if you're scaling in, just do a half or a quarter entry of your full position size at a time. First is using the ATR indicator. This works best with stocks and futures. Not as well with options, although you can test that out. The first step to using the ATR for position sizing is you need to choose a time frame, as the ATR will change significantly between time frames. You can use a daily ATR or an intraday ATR, like a 1 minute or a 5 minute. Just like any strategy, the smaller time frame, the shorter your trade should be. So I probably wouldn't be using a daily ATR for a scalp trade or a 5-minute ATR for a swing trade. Once you have chosen your time frame, now you need to decide how much movement you can handle emotionally with that certain time frame. For example, if you're using a 5-minute time frame with a 5-minute ATR, let's say the ATR is $2. Then how many shares can you handle if each share is moving $2 every 5 minutes? Say that I'm okay with my trade fluctuating $200 every 5 minutes. Well, I can take 100 shares of that stock as my full position size. I find this by dividing the dollar amount I am willing to allow my account to fluctuate by the ATR. You can play with this and test it out, but using the ATR to position size might help you out. The second way is by buying power. A lot of traders will have an idea of how much money they want to put into a trade, or maybe how much they even have available to put into a trade. This way, with a cheaper stock, they can buy more shares, and if it is a more expensive stock, they will buy less shares. Some brokers, like Webull, will actually let you do this on your order entry. You can put in how much money you want to put into the trade, then it will auto round how many shares to buy or sell. This can be an awesome way to manage your position size and how much buying power you have in your account. But a fair warning here is that you will probably have to be changing up your position sizing because smaller cap stocks can move so much further and so much more percentage-wise than a large cap stock will. So you probably don't want to put in the same amount of capital in a smaller stock that is very volatile compared to a large cap stock that isn't moving as much. Just be careful and be aware of the volatility when position sizing based off of a dollar amount. Maybe you can use it in conjunction with the ATR. Now, the most important way that I think everyone should at least have an idea of is basing your position size on your risk, or where your stop area is. This is what one of our calculators on our website will do for you. It will calculate your max share size based off your stop and how much you want to risk. Let's first talk about doing this with stock trades. If you want to enter a stock at $10 and have a stop at $9, that will give you a $1 or 1 point loss. If your portfolio has $10,000 in it, and you may only want to risk about 2% of your full account, that would be $200. So take how much you are willing to risk and divide it by the per share stop loss range, and you will get a max size of 200 shares. The interesting thing about this is, what if it's a $350 stock, but you still only have a $1 stop? Well, you can still have a max size of 200 shares. Obviously, 200 shares of a $350 stock is going to cost much more than 200 shares of a $10 stock. So this is the kind of thing you need to think about if you are position sizing based off of the buying power. Now, when you are trying to figure out how to position size options, it gets a little trickier because you need to be a little more flexible. This is mostly because of theta and the spreads involved with options. I'd say to figure your position size by your buying power or risk, because in some cases, they may be the same. Some option strategies, it's great to just risk the entire debit paid because your upside potential may be well over 100%. So your buying power would be the amount of risk you are taking. Some traders like to accept that full loss of the option right when they enter the trade. This might be a good mindset for you, and maybe it's not. And in that case, definitely have a stop and base your position size off where you would be stopping out. In summary, there are 3 main ways to choose your position size. Either by an ATR based off of your buying power, or what I suggest everyone keep an eye on is based off your risk. No matter what one you choose to focus on, always have an idea of your risk. This will help calm your nerves and help you position size correctly so that you can stick to your plan without too much pain or emotional attachment. We'll talk more about your position size in later videos, so I'll see you there.